Hi, it's Jennifer, and welcome to another Flow Free Friday. Today's focus is your core. Grab a pair of blocks and go ahead and come onto your back as we'll start in Shavasana. Place one hand on your belly and the other hand on your chest. Close your eyes and start to focus on your breath. Breathing into the hand that is on your belly, into your rib cage, and lastly, into your chest. And exhale fully through your nose. Continue this breath pattern for a few minutes to give yourself the time to settle into your mat and mentally prepare for your practice. Breathing in deeply and fully, allowing your breath to flow freely. Many think that the core is only your abdominals, but we'll also be focusing on strengthening the inner thigh muscles as well as your glutes as usual. So draw your knees into your chest and just slowly rock a little bit from side to side. Extend your left leg fully along your mat, interlace your fingers, and clasp the back of your thigh and draw your right knee into your chest. You can stay here, or if you feel to deepen your stretch, extend your leg up towards the ceiling and start to circle your ankle nice and slow in both directions. While maintaining a strong connection through your left leg, thinking about pressing the back of your thigh into the mat. You can slide your palms up towards your calves, but if you find that it's causing your shoulders to come off your mat and to compromise your neck position, continue to hold onto the back of your thigh so you aren't creating any tension in your neck and shoulders. You might be feeling the stretch along the back of your legs or hamstrings and maybe into your calf muscle a little bit. Just continue to breathe deeply. Now place your right elbow on the floor and support your leg in your right hand. Your left arm is reaching away from you to help you counterbalance. Just gently stretching out your inner thighs. If you're feeling opening up in your hamstrings here, you can go ahead and straighten through your right knee. However, it's perfectly fine to stay where you are with your knee bent, as we just want to have a gentle stretch. Swapping over your leg into the opposite hand, and using your right arm this time to stabilize and to counterbalance. You want to make sure that you're keeping both of your hip bones down on your mat. So if you feel as though your lower back or your sacrum is lifting off of your mat, you're going too far. This is a nice simple stretch, just to stretch out the right side of the body, the hip. Draw your knee back into your chest, lift your head and shoulders up, and see if you can place your leg over your tricep like a backpack. So this is a half happy baby. So think half happy baby here. If tucking your tricep on the back of your thigh doesn't work for you, you can always just go with a half happy variation where you hold the outside edge of your foot, the baby toe side of the edge of your foot with your hand, and draw your knee down towards the side of your torso, while still maintaining connection through the opposite leg that's reaching away from you. I like this variation of anchoring your thigh with your tricep because it makes it a little bit deeper. Straighten out both your legs and just notice if one feels as though one is longer than the next. Comment below if you notice any difference. Changing sides. Now we're drawing our left knee in towards our chest and reaching the right leg away from us. Choosing to hold on to the back of your thigh or your calf muscle, remembering that if it causes a compromise or change in your spinal position, you'll stay with holding on to the back of your thigh. Circling your ankle out, both directions. And then see if you can draw your leg in a little bit closer towards your chest to deepen the stretch. Keeping your right leg active, toes and knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. And just continue to breathe as you go through these stretches. Coming into the gentle inner thigh stretch, reaching your right arm away from you to help you counterbalance and supporting your leg in your left hand. Elbow is on the ground here. And again, the option to extend fully through your left knee is there for you if you are ready for it. And getting ready to change sides, you're going to support your leg with your right hand and keep your left arm rooted on the ground to help you stabilize, and also make sure that you're not rocking over and lifting the hips off of the mat. Coming into our funky happy baby, or go for the regular one. So you wedge, you kind of wedge your tricep in there and you use your hand. So if you're going with the tricep version, you're placing your leg over your arm like a backpack. Your arm comes on the outside of your shin and holds onto the baby toe side of your foot and pulls your knee down to the floor as you continue to push strongly through the sole of the extended foot on your right leg. One last little squeeze here. And now extend your left leg and just check it out. Gentle little shake. Good. Bring both knees in once again. And now have fun rolling along the length of your spine. You can roll a little bit quicker than I am here. Roll up, cross at your ankles. And roll over your shins and step your feet back and make your way onto your hands and knees, making sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders and that your knees are underneath your hips, and start to move through your cat-cow. Remember, you are free to move in any way that feels good for you. As you may know by now, I love to shift forward and back just to help stretch out my wrists as well. And I find that when I round my spine and I shift my hips back towards my heels in my cat pose, I get a little bit more of a lower back stretch. You can also think about drawing circles here. And if you are drawing circles, remember to change directions. There's no right or wrong for me here in your cat-cow. I find it's really good to pay attention to your body and what it's saying to you and honor it with the movement. That will give it what it needs. Come to stillness. Press into the tops of your feet. Lift your knees off just 2 inches. Round your spine. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Pull your ribs in and hold it here. It's just a floating cat pose, just to fire up your core. And gently lower your knees back onto your mat. You can tuck your left toes under for stability, and let's start to warm the core up even more. Inhaling as you extend your right leg way behind you, using your glutes to help get your leg a little bit higher. And exhale, use your abdominals to pull your knee in towards your elbow or your tricep. Inhale to reach. Exhale, draw your knee to your elbow or tricep and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. On your last one, hold it here and then release your knee to the floor and change sides. Feel free to do as many reps here as you wish. I think I did about 8. You can choose to do 5 reps, 8 reps, or even 10. And holding the last rep for as long as you can and really feeling your abdominals contract to keep your knee on your tricep or your elbow. These are really, really good for working your abdominals. Good. Come back to center, uncurl your toes, and sit back into extended child's pose. Just reaching your fingers forward ever so slightly so your arms are nice and long and your elbows are floating. Biceps are spiraling up towards the ceiling and preparing to move into our modified half series. Inhaling as you shift your body forward, coming into a kneeling plank position. Exhaling to bend your elbows, lowering into your chaturanga. Inhaling to push yourself back up and exhaling to sit back into extended child's pose. You want to try to move with your breath as much as possible here and keep your hands planted, fingertips and knuckles pressing into the mat so you avoid placing your weight fully into the heel of your hands, the heels of your hands. Let's add a little bit of fire to this. And the next time you shift forward into your plank, float your right leg up. Look, keep your leg lifted as you lower into your chaturanga. Press yourself back up. And when you sit back into child's pose, you lower your leg back to the mat. Do at least 3 of these on each side, always remembering to move at your pace. And slowly shift forward into a kneeling plank and press on up into a full plank pose. Pull your ribs in, fill up the space between your shoulder blades so you're protracting through your shoulder blades. Squeeze your inner thighs strongly towards each other, fire up your glutes. Draw your hands back to your feet and draw your feet forward towards your hands. Isometric hold. Then take a big breath in and exhale. Lift your hips up and press them back for downward facing dog, pressing your heels down towards the floor. Look between your hands and you can step or hop to the top of your mat. And just take a little release here. And now inhale to rise all the way up to stand. And exhaling, bringing your hands to heart as we prepare for our sun salutations. Step into the top of your mat if you're not already there. Feet will be at hip width distance. Inhale to circle your arms around and up. Exhale, hinging at your hips and folding your body in half, reaching for your toes. Take an inhale as you step your right foot to the back of your mat. Choose to place your knee down here for a kneeling lunge, or you can have your knee float for a full lunge. Exhaling into child's pose or downward facing dog. Inhaling into full plank or kneeling plank. Exhale into chaturanga. Inhaling into your cobra or your upward facing dog. Exhaling, lifting up and back into downward facing dog. Inhale to step your right foot to the top of your mat, finding your lunge. And exhaling to step your left foot to the top of your mat, finding your forward fold. Inhale to stand all the way up, and exhale, sit back, chair pose. So as I continue to flow through the sun salutations, I'm definitely mixing it up. My knees are down sometimes, or my knees are off. My hands are either extended above my head or at my heart. It really doesn't matter so much what you do with your arms here. Just honor your body. If your shoulders are feeling tired, you can always place your hands at your heart. If you want to manage your energy, you can always place your knees down. You can choose up dog or cobra pose. So many options here to make the sun salutations accessible for you. Stepping your left foot forward now, coming into your kneeling lunge with your hands at your heart. And now stepping your right foot forward to meet at the top of your mat. Inhaling to rise all the way up to stand, and exhale to sit back in chair pose. Let's do one more round. Inhale, rise up, and exhale to fold. Inhale to step your right foot to the back of your mat, and check to make sure that you're still at hip width distance when you step back. It helps you to maintain your balance. And exhale as you step into downward facing dog. Inhaling, coming into a nice strong high plank, shifting forward slightly and lower into your chaturanga. Inhaling to press up into upward facing dog, shoulders back and down. Exhaling to push your hips up into downward facing dog. Inhale as you step your right foot to the top of your mat, coming into your full lunge, or perhaps you take a kneeling lunge. And exhale to step forward and fold into forward fold. Inhale, root down to rise up. Exhale, weight is in the heels as you sit back, chair. Last time on our left side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, big step back with your left foot. Huge lunge pose here. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Exhale, plant your palms and step back into downward facing dog or take child's pose. Inhaling and spiraling your body forward into your plank. High plank or come into a kneeling plank. Exhaling into chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. I love up dog. And exhale, pushing up and back, downward facing dog. Your next inhale brings your left foot to the top of your mat. Find your lunge pose here. And exhale, step strongly forward into your forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, sit back, chair pose. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, bringing your hands to your heart. Nice and warm and ready for our practice. Take a big breath in and circle your arms around and up. And exhale, fold your body in half. Plant your palms and step back. Right foot followed by your left into downward facing dog. Make sure your feet are at hip width distance. And you're drawing your inner thighs towards each other. Inhale and shift forward into a nice strong high plank. Exhale, pressing up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rising up nice and high into the tippy toes and balls of your feet and shift forward into plank. Exhale, pressing up and back, downward facing dog. Five rounds and hold your plank. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Squeeze everything you can squeeze and keep breathing. One more inhale here and exhale, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale and reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale and step your right foot to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your fingertips up. Exhale, shift your hips back, lift your right toes, half split. So we're flowing between our kneeling lunge and our half split. So your inhale to shift forward into your lunge, sweeping your arms up, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Exhale, let your fingertips rest and shift your hips back, lift your toes up to feel the hamstring stretch. 5 reps. Inhale to reach up into your lunge. Exhale, shifting back. You could always grab your blocks and use them here as you shift back into your half split. My arms are quite long, so I don't need my blocks just yet. But I'm going to grab them and place them here. After you've completed 5 reps, we're going to go into our fullest expression here of our Hanuman, or half split. So extending strongly through your right leg, you're going to draw your right hip back and over towards the left to keep your hips and pelvis square and level. And then you can lift your right heel up and lower it down, a little bit of core work there, or you can just very easily extend through your right heel to bring your right leg to the top of your mat and push strongly through the back heel. You can use your blocks here as I am and make sure that they're underneath your wrist. So you want them to be an extension essentially of your limbs. You can start on the higher level, and as you feel more relaxed into the posture and that you want to sink or go a little bit further, you can change the level as I just did and put them on a lower level. I'm going to keep your chest lifted here and breathe. And I'll very slowly lift and come out of it. Coming into a pyramid long stance. So you're extending through both knees. Left heel is off the floor. Right heel is planted, toes are planted. Take an inhale, sweep your right arm to the front of your mat. Exhale, open up your chest. Coming into a twisted triangle variation. You're looking up at your right thumb and make sure you can keep your eye on your thumb. If you find you're straining your neck or your eyes to see your thumb, bring your arm forward. Continue your arm on this journey and sweep your arm around and back towards your block and step back into downward facing dog. Second side, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale as you carefully step your left foot to the top of your mat, making sure your heel is underneath your knee and your knee is on top of your heel. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, shifting back, lifting your left toes. Heart is reaching forward as hips are pressing back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, shifting back, half split. 3 more reps. Inhale, reach up. You're keeping your ribs pulling in here. Right toes are curled under. Moving with your breath, flowing from one pose effortlessly into the next. Grabbing your blocks and preparing for your half split. Now you could stay here in half split, or if you want to start to work your way up, or you're working your way up to splits, you can very carefully draw your left heel forward, push through your left heel, and push through your right heel. You're drawing your inner thighs towards each other. And in this instance, you're going to think about drawing your left hip over to the right, or your left butt cheek over to the right, so you keep your hips square. Draw your inner thighs, so it's an active stretch. So you're getting a hip flexor stretch on your right side and a hamstring stretch on your left side. Nice long spine, and use your blocks to help you here. Keep breathing. Keep drawing in towards the midline, the center of your body. And slowly start to lift and bend your left knee. You can move your blocks out of the way here, or you can bring them forward as we move into our long pyramid. Good. Find your stability here. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Take an inhale, reach your left arm to the front of your mat, and exhale, open up your chest. Twisted triangle. This is really challenging. I hope you enjoy this variation. And again, remember to keep your eye on your thumb. Hips and pelvis are square. Circle your arm around to the back of your mat and forward. Move your blocks out of the way. Plant your palms and step back into downward facing dog. You can rest here if you wish to flow. Come forward into your plank. Knees can be down. Exhale, lower into chaturanga, inhaling into your upward facing dog or cobra pose. And exhale, press your hips up and back, find downward facing dog. Take a moment, big breath in and a big breath out. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, shifting forward, bring your right knee to your right tricep. We're going to do this 5 times, shifting forward and really squeeze. Tap your tricep, or maybe just tap your elbow gently with your knee. But really aim as much as you can to get your knee to your tricep. Really round your spine and squeeze, pull your ribs in. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, place your left knee down. Left toes are tucked under. So we're coming into lizard pose. To take your lizard a little bit further and to deepen the hip opening stretch, lift your toes up and pivot on the heel and open out your hip just a little bit more. You can also roll onto the baby toe side edge of your foot. But you're keeping the muscles in your foot active so that you can feel your shins activate and take care of your knee. So we're going to add a little bit of a twist here. Take your right hand and place it on the inside of your right thigh, just by your knee. You're going to take an inhale to lengthen through your spine energetically, and exhale, draw your right shoulder blade back, left shoulder blade forward. Have the option to take it a little bit further here and get a bit of a quad stretch. So bending through your left knee, reaching back to grab a hold of the top of your foot. Just shifting your hips back a little bit to bring your heel to your bum, and then shift back forward into your lizard pose. Hold it there for about a breath or two, and slowly release your foot to the floor. Plant your palms and lift your left knee off. Take a big breath in here and exhale, step back to 3-legged dog. Inhale and step your right foot to the top of your mat by your right thumb. Find stability and come on up into a high lunge. From here, we're floating into tree pose. So you have the option to place your foot either on your calf muscle, or if you can lift your leg up towards your inner thigh without folding over, go ahead and do so. Bring your arms out to the side, think cowboy surrender or cactus arms. Take an inhale here, exhale and twist over towards your left. Inhaling back to center, and exhale, twisting over towards your right. Inhale back to center and exhale, hold it here in your tree. You're pressing your foot into your thigh gently. Bring your palms to your heart. Bring your left knee to the front of the mat. Step back with your left foot, reaching for your mat with your toes. Coming back into a lunge. Inhale to reach your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into your downward facing dog. Second side, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, shifting your body weight forward, bringing your knee to your tricep. Rounding your spine a little bit here, so you're pulling your ribs in and filling up the space between your shoulder blades and rising up high onto the balls of the opposite foot. And carefully place your left foot on the outside of your left hand and rest your right knee down. Coming into lizard pose on the second side. Choosing to turn your, open up your hip up a little bit more. Lifting up your toes and pivoting on the heel. So your toes are further away than your heel and rolling onto the baby toe side. Keeping your ribs pulling in, your glutes are active, and you're drawing your inner thighs towards each other. So this is an active stretch. We're not just allowing ourselves to sink into it. We're bringing a little bit of strength, a little bit of yang into this posture. Coming into your twist, placing your left hand just above the knee on the left side. Drawing your left shoulder blade back, and your right shoulder blade is reaching forward to deepen the twist here. Getting ready for your quad stretch, bending your right knee, shifting your bum back towards the heel, just a little bit of flex through your ankle, and now just shifting your hips forward. Don't have to stay here for too long, just enough to feel the stretch along the front of your right thigh. And slowly releasing, planting your right toes, floating your right knee off. Preparing to step back into three-legged dog. Yep, I'm really beginning to feel this. Take an inhale here, and your next exhale, press yourself up to three-legged dog. Step your left foot to the top of your mat by your left thumb. Find stability, check your feet, make sure you are still at hip distance. Come on up into your lunge, hands at your heart, preparing to step forward into our tree pose. So your knees to the front, and then it turns out to the side, and place your foot above your knee, well above your knee or well below. Just avoiding your knee at all costs so we don't push our knee out of alignment. Take an inhale and rotate through your torso over to your right. Exhale back to center. Sorry, that should be an inhale. Inhale and exhale to twist. Inhale back to center. And exhale, you're going to hold it here. Continue to breathe deeply and fully. I'm starting to feel really tired here and wondering, what was I thinking? This class is tough. Bringing your right knee to the front and starting to hinge through your hip. Pass through a warrior three. Find your mat with your right toes. Inhale, extend your fingertips towards the ceiling, and exhale, plant your palms and step back. Get ready for your vinyasa, or you may rest and take a sip of water here. Inhaling into your plank, exhaling to lower into chaturanga. Inhaling, finding upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, pressing up and back, find downward facing dog. I love to take a moment in downward dog and just wiggle it out. It feels so good on my back. Shifting forward into your plank pose. Your knee is going to come to your tricep, your right tricep, lower down to your right wrist, over to the left tricep, and down to the left wrist. Whoops. Okay. So you're thinking about drawing a box. So knee to tricep, to wrist, to opposite tricep, back down to the wrist, over to the first wrist, and back up. And we're going to do that 3 times, then step back into downward facing dog, and three-legged dog, and then plant your right foot to the top of your mat by your right thumb. I'm not sure what happened there. I completely lost track of what it was doing. or what I was saying. So we're in warrior two, nice strong warrior two. You can challenge yourself here and deepen or widen your stance. Strong arms, relax through your jaw, relax through your shoulders, and slowly straighten through your right knee, coming into triangle pose, and again being mindful to keep your eye on your thumb. And now extend your right arm alongside your right ear, palm facing up, left arm alongside your left ear, palm facing down. You want it to feel as though you're squeezing your palms into a giant beach ball. Continue to reach through your fingertips. Really squeeze. Slowly transition through your warrior two. And you're going to cartwheel your left hand down, drop your hips and come into a twisted low lunge. Roll onto the baby toe side of your left foot and stack your right foot on top, finding side plank. Hold your side plank, reach your fingertips up, squeeze your legs towards each other, squeeze your glutes, and now step your right foot back and slowly come into wild thing. I love this pose. From here, coming into a three-legged plank, adjust if you need to. Find three-legged dog, shift forward into three-legged plank, exhale into three-legged chaturanga, inhaling to three-legged upward facing dog, and exhale, press up into three-legged dog. Place your right foot down. Whew, that was really tough. Let's go for the second side. Shifting forward into plank. So left knee to left tricep, left wrist, right tricep, right wrist, left tricep. 3 times. I got it right this time. Oh my goodness. Whew. I can remember how I felt when I was going through this. This is really tough. 3 reps is a lot. You can do 1. And the more you practice this flow, you can increase. Hi there, Rocco. So sweaty and so hot. Oh my goodness, we're nearly at the end. So finding your warrior two, just wanted to see what Rocco was going to do there. He can be quite mischievous when he's ready. Remember, relax through your jaw, your shoulders. Inner thighs are active. Glutes are active. Feet are strong. Slowly straighten out through your left knee. Come into your triangle here. Turn your left palm to face up. Right palm is facing down. Your biceps are alongside your ears. I'm smiling, but I'm really struggling here. Continue to find your breath. Reach, shifting into your warrior two. Let's get ready for our transition for the other side. So as you're spiraling your right hand down to the ground, you're going to lift your right foot up and pivot on the balls of the foot and come into your twisted low lunge. And slowly transition onto the baby toe side of your right foot, stacking your left foot on top. Super important if you're going to stack your feet to flex strongly through your ankles so that you can use the edges of your feet to keep you stable. Step your left foot back, arching your heart up towards the ceiling for wild thing. Planting your left palm, adjust, little hop here, into your three-legged dog. Shift forward into a three-legged plank. Lower into your three-legged chaturanga, inhaling into three-legged up dog, and exhaling three-legged dog. Whew. And place your left foot down. Well done. We made it. Shifting forward into a plank and slowly lower all the way down onto your belly. Make a pillow with your hands, and you can place your forehead on the back of your hands or turn your head off to the side. Just take a few moments here to slow your breath down. Breathe in from your belly, into your rib cage, and lastly into your chest, and exhale fully. We just have a little bit more core work to do before we get towards the very end of our class for our Shavasana. Continue to breathe deeply here. This is also a great opportunity to grab a sip of water if you need it. and to wipe the sweat from your brow. So, getting ready to come up into extension, I want you to place your forehead on the back of your palms. You're going to lift your head and your shoulders and your chest up off of your mat, and your arms are coming with you. Keeping your hip points down, keeping the tops of your feet planted on your mat. Your glutes are not clenching, but they are engaged, and your inner thighs are always working towards each other, but they're not going to touch. So it's like they're magnetized. And so now we're going to pause, extend your arms out in front of you, and float your legs off. I want you to think about pressing your hip points down into the floor, or into your mat rather. Continue to reach through your fingertips as you reach through your toes. Glutes are working a little bit more actively here, and you really feel the back muscles supporting you in this extended posture. This is like swim prep in Pilates, or some of you might know it as Superman. And slowly release. Keeping your legs a little bit wide and your hips slightly turned out, bend your knees and slowly windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Just releasing your lower back. Allow your feet to fall in towards each other or cross at the ankles. Bring your hands by your side and press yourself up into a kneeling plank. Roll over your shins and bring your feet through to the front. You can always choose to bring your legs around the side. You're going to scoot yourself forward so you're halfway down your mat as we're getting ready to do some of the core work that I was telling you about. So you're coming all the way down onto your back. And we're going to start with single leg extension here. But before we get into that, let's come into wind relieving pose. So you're drawing your knees in and giving yourself a super, super, super tight hug. And as you're drawing your knees in, you want to think about reaching your sitting bones away from you. So you will feel as you start to reach your sitting bones away from you that your knees want to pull away from you, but don't let them. So from here, you're going to nod your chin and lift your head and shoulders up. You can choose to have your fingertips by your temples, cradle your head in your hands, or reach your fingertips away from you as I am doing here. We're going for 20 reps. You're exhaling as you extend one leg and inhale as you switch your legs. Super, super, super long legs here. Your gaze can be where the ceiling and the wall meet. You're squeezing your glutes. So you're getting an abdominal workout here, as well as a little bit of legs and glutes. Draw your knees back in. Now we're going for obliques with long legs. So I want you to think about bringing your shoulder towards your knee as opposed to your elbow. So if having your legs super long is really challenging for you, it's a much longer lever to work with, you can bend your knees for this exercise. Nice and slow, same breath as before. Exhale to rotate, inhale to switch your legs. Try for 20 reps, but you can always start with 10 and work your way up. Come back to center. Now we're going to go into straddle. So keeping your head and shoulders lifted. You can play with the foot position. You can point or you can flex. Either way, you're opening your legs as you inhale, and as you exhale, you are going to think about activating your inner thighs first to draw your legs back towards the center. So again, options, you can keep your head and shoulders lifted. You can support your head in your hands, or you can place your head down if this is too much. Play with your arm positions. Arms above your head is a little bit more challenging as you're extending the lever above your head. So it's more weight to lift. It's kind of fun, actually. Not sure what inspired it because I've never actually done this with my arms above my head before. But this was really, really good. So look out. This might show up in my next Pilates class. Or even my next yoga class. Hold it here and slowly lower your legs. Now for me, This is as far as I can lower my legs without allowing my lower back to lift off. You might be able to lower your legs further. Go for it. See how long you can hold it, and then lower your head and shoulders and bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a big hug and a high five. You made it. Slowly rocking from side to side, and then releasing your feet to the floor as we prepare for our bridge pose. Now, depending on how you're feeling, you can choose to keep it restorative and get a block if you have it close by, and place it underneath your low back and sacrum and just allow yourself to melt over your block. Or if you still have some energy left, you can choose to remove the block. Maybe even think about placing it between your thighs. Arms will be by your side, and you can hold your bridge pose here. Glutes are active, ribs are pulling in, fingertips are reaching away. You're drawing your heels back towards your shoulder blades. Yep, add in the block, work your inner thighs a little bit more, wrapping your shoulders under and down, lifting your hips up even higher, bringing your chest closer to your chin. You can think about pressing the back of your head gently into your mat. You want to maintain a nice long neck here and keep your chin away from your chest. So we're not compromising our neck alignment. Pressing into your feet and breathing deeply. When you've had enough, you can slowly start to walk your shoulders back out if you had them tucked under, and lower your hips down towards your mat. If you were going with the more restorative option, you can remove the block, place it off to the side, and getting ready to come into a twist. So bringing your arms out to the side with your palms facing down or up, lifting your hips up and shifting your bum over towards the left side of your mat, and lowering yourself onto your right hip. You can keep your knees bent here or straighten through your legs, but be mindful of your hip wanting to hike up. You can see I took my hand to reach my hip or lower my hip away so my hip stays level. You can stay with a fully extended leg, or you can keep your knees bent. As you know, I do love to give you options. I like to say it's a buffet, a yoga buffet. And you might try something today, or you might choose to try it another time. Coming back to center, readjusting. And now shifting your hips all the way over towards your right and lowering yourself onto your left hip. I was a bit close to my wall here, so I couldn't take the option with my legs fully extended. But this feels just as good. The other thing you want to be mindful of here are your shoulder blades. They should be supported on your mat. So if you find that they're hanging in space, you can get a blanket, or maybe you might have a throw pillow nearby to support you, so you can fully relax and be comfortable in your twist. And just focus on your breath. Let gravity do the rest. And you can stay here for as long as you need, and then slowly make your way back to center. And choosing how you would like to end your practice today, you can either walk your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees fall in towards each other, or you can bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to flop out to the side, supporting them with blocks. Or you can keep it traditional and extend both legs fully, 1 foot to each corner of your mat. Or maybe if today you try something new, if you've never done it before, and have your Shavasana on your belly. Turning your attention inward once again and focusing on your breath. And if you like the way we started with one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest to help you guide your breath, go ahead and come back to that now. Remember to breathe into your belly, into your ribs, and lastly into your chest, and exhale fully. It's really wonderful practicing with you again today, and I really do hope you enjoyed the class. You can stay here as long as you need. And continue to focus on your breath and enjoy this moment of quiet relaxation. And when you're ready, you'll carefully roll onto your side, pausing there for a moment, and then making your way up to a comfortable seated position. And continue to have a wonderful day. I want to thank you all so much for joining me for another Flow Free Friday, firing up your core muscles. Let's take a big breath in and exhale. Thank you for sharing your energy with me and trusting me to guide you through your practice. Be free, be true, be you. Namaste. Thank you so much again.